think this season's just kind of proven itself. We're gonna have to grit our teeth and bear through it, and wait on an influx of other talent, because I think some of it. I don't think it's all just a talent thing, like a lot of people are saying. I've brought up before that there's more talent on this team than what you hear a lot of the fan base say. But I do think that there's a culture change that's going to happen, and it's not going to happen in one off season. And some of it's only going to happen by getting guys out of there and getting new guys in.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have buy-in from your players, because guess what? Like, the talent's great, but if you're coming in as a new coaching staff and you have 15, 20 guys not buying in, and maybe like 75% of them are starters, that could affect the team, man. That does affect the team.
And going forward, the main reason I'm not having any concern going forward is because look at Florida State. They're on a 3-game skid. They've got guys decommitting. Look at Florida. They're playing like absolute garbage. They're having guys decommitting. Nobody has decommitted from Miami.
Because that's what Martin's strength is. That's what we knew we were getting when he came in. The guy that took a 4-8 Oregon team, and 2019 he had him winning the Rose Bowl and the Pac-12 championship. Because they're buying into that, and because I'm sorry, like Mike Norvell, outside of taking Memphis to a New Year's Six game, hasn't done anything at Florida State. There's nothing he can point back to.
Well, and I had this concern about Norvell when he was hired, because I live right outside of Memphis. Norvell inherited what Justin Fuente built at Memphis. And, to his credit, he didn't run it in the ground, but he didn't build it. And I think, I think Norvell's doing a decent enough job. Florida State's definitely in a better position than they were in when he took over.
Yeah.
But that was one of my biggest questions about Norvell when he came in there.
Yeah, but what I was trying to get at is these guys, like, things go wrong for them, and the recruits is like, all right, there's nothing they can really point back to. But Mario, it's like, hey, I'm year one. This is a new team. We went 7-5 last year. We have certain deficiencies at this team. You've seen what I can do in the past. I've beaten Ohio State in Columbus. I've gone to the Pac-12 championship, won it. I've won the Rose Bowl. I've taken a team that was bad and made them into a team that a lot of people would say could have gone to the playoff.
It was a game shy of it, yeah. And it's like I said earlier in the season, like after the A&M game, a lot of people were looking around. We're not going to get any recruits. How's he going to get anybody to come here? And we're playing like this. I'm like, the recruiting pitches itself. Offensive linemen can look, hey, I can come in here and play and make this better. Wide receivers can look, oh, I can come in here and catch more balls than this guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think, and then with his ability, I'm not worried about the team going forward. Was I hoping for better this year? Absolutely. But I think it's one of those things, like you heard about Florida State and the reason Norvell was being given more time. I think there was more turmoil behind the scenes than what people realized. And even with, and I think they actually made it worse by firing Manny, to be honest with you. That team, despite what the fan base thinks of him, the team rallied around him and won 5 of their last 6. So you had a lot of upset players over that.
Yeah, I do believe we probably would have had a better season this year with Manny Diaz. Now I think in 3 years from now we'll have a better season with Mario than we would have with Manny.
I agree with that.
I mean, recruiting isn't an issue for this year, but let's say this was year 3, year 4 of Mario, and we have stuff like this happening, then that's when you would get decommitments. That's when you would get players being like, I'm not trying to buy in. Because that's what happened with Manny. Manny, year 1 goes 6-7. He gets a top 15 recruiting class, goes 8-3 3, his second year, gets a top 15 recruiting class. By year 3, everyone's looking at him, 2-4. No one wants to go to Miami. No one wanted to come here because they were like, dude, it's year 3 and your team is this bad. Your team is underperforming this much when it was expected to be a 9-3, 10-2 team and go and battle North Carolina for the Coastal.
Well, and I think that's part of the unrealistic expectations that get put on people. Why would anybody think that Manny's third year ever as a head coach? Nobody put those kind of expectations on Mario his third year as a head coach, or really anybody else at their third year as a head coach. He's still learning how to be a head coach at that point.
Yeah, I'm kind of assuming. I'm kind of assuming there must be, especially with the upperclassmen, that there's a real just that they're not jiving with. They haven't bought into what Mario is doing.
I mean, yeah, think about it. You're with Manny Diaz for 3 years as a head coach, 6 years as a defensive coordinator. A lot of these guys have been here since 2018 because of the COVID rule that gave them an extra year to play. And you're used to this lackadaisical, chill, don't really care during practice. And then now you got this guy coming in that's like, wait, he's not going to let us chill. He's not going to let us just do whatever the hell we want.
Yep.
He's going to actually make us like work. I don't want to do this.
Because that actually goes into the very problem that I had with Manny as a head coach. And that's the difference between the two of them. Mario's going to be your head coach. Manny was trying to be your friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario's going to make you clean your room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's almost a lot like, your dad can't be your best friend. It's got to be your dad.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't have a coach being just a militant asshole because players aren't going to respond to that either. Because look, Jimmy Johnson, we've all seen the U documentary he ran, a tight ship, all this stuff. He was hard, he was strict, and he held his players up to a standard. But you also heard a lot of those players being like, there for me when I needed, like, if I needed to talk to someone, I could go to Jimmy. Jimmy would give me advice.
Well, I'm absolutely certain that Mario's the same way.
Yeah, I'm not saying Mario's a militant asshole, but I'm just saying there's another extreme to that too, where you can get a coach that is just like, I don't like this guy. He's just not like a good person. He doesn't treat us right.
Well, I mean, I think the only argument to that would be Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Because if anybody that comes to my mind as being like a militant asshole, it would probably be Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And he seems to get it done year after year.
Yeah, but then again, this kind of goes back to the recruiting thing, something that I was going to say. When you're year one and your team's underperforming expectations, you can say, hey, we need you. Look at all these deficiencies we have. But then you look at Nick Saban and how he recruits. Yeah, we're stacked, and you're not going to get really a lot of playing time as a freshman, maybe not even as a sophomore. But you're going to come in as a junior, senior, and you're going to go day 1, day 2 into the NFL draft because I've got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy just within the last 2 years that they went first and second round. But guess what? That takes time.
It does. And Nick Saban was able to get that machine rolling by year 3. And, some say...
Year 2, he was in the SEC championship game and in a BCS bowl.
Yeah, he lost that BCS bowl and lost that SEC championship game, and it really wasn't even all that competitive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but still, going from 7-7, whatever he went year 1 in Alabama, to now you go 11-1, and you're in the SEC championship game playing Tim Tebow and the Florida Gators, and then you're in the Sugar Bowl or whatever bowl they went to. That's still a huge.
It was the Sugar Bowl. They lost it to Utah. And that was before Utah was in the Pac-12.